Golden, flaky and buttery, croissants have become a symbol of French breakfast culture. But where did this iconic pastry really come from? Today we're peeling back the layers of the croissant's history and uncovering its European roots from Vienna to Paris. Welcome to the European palate, where food and history come together. Now let's start with a debate that's been going on for centuries. Where was the croissant actually born? The story begins in Vienna, not Paris, with a pastry called the Kipferl. The Kipferl was a crescent-shaped pastry made with a variety of ingredients. Some historians argue that when the Ottomans laid siege to Vienna in 1683, the bakers in the city created this shape to celebrate their victory after the siege was lifted. The crescent symbolized the moon on the Ottoman flag, and it was said to be a reminder of their triumph. But how did it get to France? Well, in the 18th century, when Marie Antoinette, the Austrian princess, married King Louis XVI, she brought with her a wealth of Austrian culinary traditions. The Kipferl would eventually evolve into what we now know as the croissant. By the late 19th century, the croissant had firmly planted itself in French culture. But it was a key innovation in French baking that turned it into the flaky, buttery version we love today. Enter the invention of laminated dough. Laminated dough involves folding layers of butter into the dough, then rolling and folding it several times to create thin, buttery layers. This process gives the croissant its signature texture, creating that crisp exterior and soft, airy interior. Many credit the technique to French pastry chefs in the 17th and 18th centuries, but it was perfected in the 19th century with the help of the French Revolution and the subsequent democratization of pastry making. Croissants soon became a staple in cafes and bakeries all over Paris, with the bakeries of Montmartre leading the charge. By the time the 20th century rolled around, croissants were no longer just a Viennese pastry. They had transformed into a quintessential symbol of French breakfast culture. Every morning, Parisians flocked to bakeries to grab their fresh croissant, often paired with a café au lait. But it wasn't just a pastry, it was a symbol of French craftsmanship, the art of baking, and of course, French elegance. Croissant didn't stay in France. As French culture spread around the globe, so did the croissant. By the mid-20th century, croissant could be found in cafes across Europe, North America, and beyond. In the United States, the croissant became a popular breakfast item, with some variations like chocolate-filled croissants and even the croissant sandwich making their way onto menus. Even though we often associate croissants with Paris, they've evolved in unique ways around the world, taking on new fillings, shapes, and even fusion styles. Today, the croissant continues to evolve. Across Europe, bakeries are reimagining the classic pastry, experimenting with new ingredients like matcha, pistachio, or even savory options like ham and cheese. In fact, artisanal bakers are taking the croissant to new heights, emphasizing high-quality butter and carefully sourced ingredients to create the perfect pastry. And while croissants are available worldwide, sometimes even in mass-produced forms, nothing quite beats the experience of enjoying one straight from a traditional French bakery. It's more than just a breakfast item, it's a piece of European culinary history. So next time you take a bite of a buttery croissant, remember its long journey from the courts of Vienna to the cafes of Paris and beyond. It's a pastry with layers of history, just like the delicate layers of dough that make it so irresistible. Thanks for joining us on the European Palate. Subscribe for more interesting explorations of the history of fashions and cuisine.